Hey guys, I'm Sean Bartley with the Comics Pals, here live at New York Comic Con 2017, and I'm standing next to the first big comic book guest that we ever had on the Comics Pals. I'm honored to say that I knew you before you were a big name.
Sure.
Christopher Sebela, how's it going?
Very good, thanks.
Awesome. So you mentioned to me that this was your first time at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Well, what's your experience been like?
It's a lot like San Diego, and I really don't like San Diego, so it's been an adjustment. Like, yeah, it's just like a lot of people, and I'm kind of a hermit in my daily life. Like, I usually work, like, the most crowded places I go are like coffee shops. So this is like 10,000 coffee shops squeezed into one room. But I like, I like seeing everybody, so there are upsides to it.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Now, Heartthrob. We have to talk about Heartthrob, sure. Because the first time that you came on our show, the Comics Pals, you were talking to us about Heartthrob, and now, ever since that happened, the book has exploded, and it's being actually produced for television. What's that feel like? What's it like to have your book sort of have these eyes on it now?
It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I try not to put too much stock in it because, like, people get stuff optioned all the time and nothing ever comes from it. So, like, it's a nice boost for the book and it gets more eyes on it. And ultimately, we want more people reading the book. So hopefully it brings more people in to read it. Like, we would both love it if a show actually happened from it, but, nobody's holding their breath on it. Like, it just gives us the ability to finish the book the way we want to finish it.
And that's huge, and a lot of creators don't have that opportunity. So
yeah, exactly. Like, so we're just, making the most of it. Like, I think we're going to see a tiny little amount of money from it, but, like early talks that we've had with the production people is like everything, they're going for like female showrunners and women writers. So like they're treating the material the way I hoped they would. So I'm positive right now.
That's fantastic. Now, since the last time we spoke, Heartthrob Season 2 began.
Yeah.
And I'm an avid reader, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic.
Thanks.
What can you tease about the future of the series, the comic series?
So Season 2 Season 2 turns into kind of a huge bummer, and also ends on a really big cliffhanger that, I've always, since I came up with the book, like, this was always in mind. So kind of been working towards this. And if you go back to Season 1, ultimately when we get to Season 3, we'll start explaining that there's stuff in Season 1 that, if you go back and look at it, has been planting seeds for what happens at the end of Season 2. So yeah, like, it's kind of our bummer middle act, and then Season 3 will be possibly a triumphant final act.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, I know how it ends, and I know a lot of the stuff that's in it, but also Robert Wilson, the artist, and we're basically going to be like co-plotting it together, and sort of working really closely together on it. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I can't wait. So when you came on our show, Short Order Crooks was being Kickstarted,
yep.
And it was a successful Kickstarter. You guys earned the money,
yep.
And we actually have the book right here. You've got it right here. Now, what's the reception been like to the book?
Good. Like, I think we had at the end of the day, we had about 600 backers. So, the audience is very small for it, but everybody seems to really like it. And it was, definitely like uplifting to me that, like, oh, I only need 600 people who want to read my book and I can get it funded. Right. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it's still a little too early to tell. We only have the first issue out officially. The second one, I sent out PDFs to everybody, but it's still not done. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels like it's a book that's a grower, not a shower. So like, I hopefully more people will catch on to it as it goes. And once we collect it, whoever we collect it through, then we'll find a much bigger audience.
Where can people find it if they want to pick it up? Is it possible? Is it out for mass consumption?
Not quite yet, but basically towards the end of October, I'm going to be selling it through my website online. So along with like issues 2 and 3. So they will be available. I'm just trying to make sure that the backers all get their stuff first before everybody else.
I've had the opportunity to read issue 1, and it's beautiful.
Thanks.
It's really the art is fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. So I think this is the kind of book that if you guys are looking for something different, I think it's well worth your time. If you want to show it, yeah, this is the book. It's awesome. Very, very worth your time. Look at that.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to show you, though. Yeah, you got to buy the rest.
Yeah, got to pay the money. So, do you have the desire to maybe put this on television? Is that something that you want to do?
I mean, yeah, if somebody wants to do it, I'll take the money. Like, ultimately, my goal is to make books. Right. So if somebody shows up and it's like, hey, I want to give you money to make it a movie or make it a show or, make it a theme park, I don't care. Like, and they can make it and they can totally screw it up. Like, I don't care because, like, the book is the book and whatever spin-off of it is, that's its own separate thing. So, I mean, the nice thing about optioning is, like, you get money that will allow you to, like, go on and do another thing that, like, isn't super mass appeal, but, you could still make a living off it. So
I'm interested in this theme park idea because Short Order Crooks, there's all these food trucks, right? Mm-hmm. There's meat on those bones.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you should talk to somebody about.
I mean, I'm entertaining all offers. I'm not out there pursuing them, but if somebody wants to hit me up, like, I will listen. As long as there's a check at the end of it, I'm up for whatever.
So alongside you, there have been a few creators recently who have had their books optioned for television and different things like that. Do you ultimately think that is good for the comic industry and the creators, or do you think that doesn't really do much for the industry?
No, I mean, I think all this stuff does good for the industry. I definitely think, like, more non-superhero comics getting optioned and stuff is really good for the industry because I think the public at large just has a perception that, like, oh, comics are dudes in tights punching the crap out of each other, and I know, like, a majority of people know that there's more, but a lot of people don't. So, like, if that opens it up and people realize, like, oh, like, comics are the kinds of stories that I like, just in a different format, like, I think that can only help us.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. So I follow you on Twitter, and you've teased and kind of talked about a few different things that you might be working on, that maybe pitches that you sent in. Is there anything that you can tease us with or talk about a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so my first Image Central book is going to be announced next year. I also have another Image Central book that we're doing that's been greenlit. I'm doing a book with Aftershock that's going to be announced probably in December. And then I got a couple I'm doing another Kickstarter for another book, I think before the year is up. So, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in the fire. It's just trying to figure out when it's all happening.
Busy man. So, last question before we get out of here. You are one of the most honest people, in my opinion, in the comics industry publicly. So, would you be willing to tell us what is the best thing about working in this industry and the worst, or maybe the thing that you dislike the most?
I mean, the best is that, it doesn't take a lot to get your book done. Like, you just have to find a willing collaborator or group of collaborators, and, like Short Order Crooks, like, it only took 600 people who wanted to read it, and we're making a book out of it. I mean, I think the fact that, like, comics is small enough that you can, everybody, or you at least, like, know of everybody. Like, that's the thing I love about comics. Is, like, nobody is, like, too big time. It's like, you can hang out with Scott Snyder as much as you can hang out with somebody who's just bringing his first ash can to a show. I mean, worst part is, I don't know. Like, I wish comics were in more stores beyond just comic stores. Like, but that's a whole discussion that's really boring and really long. But I mean, yeah, comics can always be better. Like, buying books like that or supporting artists who are not just like straight white dudes. So that's encouraging.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have. So I really appreciate you doing this with me.
Yeah, thanks.
It's been a pleasure. Where can people find your work really quick?
ChristopherSebela.com.
Perfect. And then on Twitter, you are?
At XTOP.
Awesome. So I'm Sean with the Comics Pals. Keep it locked with us. We're covering New York Comic Con 2017. We are at the Comics Pals everywhere your social media is sold. Stay tuned, guys. Take care.